I want to see you get excited and worked up for once.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, you have tuned in to the adventures of Porno Man.
In my hot, wet, juicy, nasty.
Do what with your what?
On your knees.
Oh my.
Service me now.
I'ma grow up to be a dirty old man, kicking it up and still flirt like I can, pretending to drop shit to girls in the hand, and bend over to pick it up while I hurry get a glance up the skirt to see that pretty little ass, thinking things to embarrass in the ass, like who's at your butt? Oh, is that just how you cover your backs? Shall we shack now or shack later?
Let's have a quick talk about love, sex, and cheating. Ladies, if you get your man in a particular fashion, that is the way you're going to lose him. And I mean, if you were a good girl and, you know, very demure and proper and always seemed clean and everything had its place, and that's what he seemed to love about you, and then after you move in and or get married, you let the slob in you come out, it's probably going to be a problem. So this is really more about sexual relationship than anything else, but it applies to a great number of things in the relationship. So if y'all first to get together and you are giving him that sloppy head, that wet all the time, every time he comes, you're saying nasty things, whatever it is that got him, and you stop doing it, he's going to get it somewhere else. Now, as I say that, that does not mean that every man is going to cheat. It does not mean every man will stray. I'm just saying you are increasing your chances greatly when the things that he thought he was getting in the bargain, because it's what he got in the beginning, you keep from him. You increase your chances of him trying to go get it somewhere else. I am not, again, not a fan of those who cheat. If things are not working for you, you should absolutely talk it out, and then if things don't work out, then you have to make a serious decision on whether or not to stay with it and adjust or leave. But it is what it is. So part of this conversation is, ladies, understanding that because he might cheat on you does not mean he does not love you. It just means that you let shit get boring, and or it did not, things didn't continue the way that they did when you first started, and he's still looking for that. Because you no longer need it or want it or whatever the case may be does not mean he doesn't. So ladies, you have a choice to make. Yes, you can sit there and say, well, he needs to take my feelings into consideration, and this is how I'm feeling right now, and that's cool. He should take that into consideration. But are you taking his into consideration as well? And if you're not, or if you don't, or for you, if you think it's not as important, that the relationship as a whole should be more important, and I agree that it should, the option for most men is cheat. The relationship is important to him. He does love you. I still want what I want. And if you're not giving it, if you're not making sure it's provided for, then don't get mad when he decides to step out. If when he steps out, it keeps him happy and the relationship continues on in every other way like you want, shut the fuck up. Either handle your business or shut the fuck up when someone else is, as long as you're getting everything else that you want. If you're not taking care of his, don't be mad when he can't live up to your expectations. You're not living up to his. What the fuck? So real talk, both men and women, if you're not willing to live up to the shit that you presented, that that selling point that you work so hard to make sure that they bought into. You can't get mad when a motherfucker gets disillusioned afterwards. That's called a bait and switch. It's actually against the law in some commercial areas. I mean, you can't do that shit. So if you pull a bait and switch and they decide to go get that taken care of somewhere else, don't get mad. Don't start all that shit about how they don't love you. He wouldn't cheat if he didn't love you. That's bullshit. He can love you just fine and still want to stick his dick in something wet and says that it wants him. Makes him feel like he's wanted. And if you're not doing it,
does that mean you a dirty whore? Should have been me just telling you more to give a big arm and stand ovation. Guess I was just born to porn. Let me ask you something, baby.
Smack my ass.
Do I make you horny?
Smack my ass like you mean it.
Do I? Yeah!
Well, the stereo, and can she go? Should have named the song. I love a girl that swallows.
That had to answer. Yes, a bunch of mama said I'm